For millennia, we humans have looked up at the night sky and felt a profound sense of wonder. We have felt a connection to something larger than ourselves, a feeling that, honestly, transcends our daily lives. This feeling, this innate curiosity and search for meaning, is the heart of what we call spirituality. It isn't necessarily about religion or ancient texts. It's about the universal human experience of awe, of feeling part of a grand cosmic tapestry. It's the shiver down your spine when you watch a sunset paint the clouds in fiery colors, or the quiet peace you feel standing in an ancient forest. This quest for connection is as fundamental to our species as our need for food or water. It's a driving force behind our art, our music, our greatest stories, and even our science. Spirituality is our personal internal exploration of the great questions. Who are we? Where did we come from? What is our place in the universe? These are not just philosophical ponderings, they are deeply human inquiries that bubble up from the very core of our being. Throughout history, we have sought answers in myths, in deities, and in sacred rituals. But today, in the 21st century, another powerful tool has joined this ancient quest: science. Science, with its rigorous methods and its relentless pursuit of evidence, offers us a new language to explore these timeless mysteries, a new lens through which we can view our own inner cosmos and our relationship with the greater universe that surrounds us. This journey into the science of spirituality might seem like a contradiction. Science deals with the measurable, the provable, the material world. Spirituality often deals with the intangible, the subjective, the ineffable. Yet what if these two great human endeavors are not opposing forces, but two sides of the same coin? What if the feelings of unity, transcendence, and profound connection that define spiritual experiences have a basis in the very laws of physics that govern the stars and the atoms? What if the universe isn't just out there, but is also intricately woven into the fabric of our own minds, our own consciousness? Exploring this possibility is one of the most exciting frontiers of human knowledge. As we stand on the precipice of new discoveries, we are learning that the universe is far stranger and more interconnected than our ancestors could have ever imagined. The same principles that explain the behavior of distant galaxies might also shed light on the workings of the 3-pound universe inside our skulls. By looking inward at the nature of our own minds, our dreams, and our states of sleep, we can begin to piece together a picture of reality that is both scientifically sound and spiritually inspiring. This is a story about you. It's a story about the cosmos and the incredible, surprising, and beautiful connection between the two, a connection waiting to be explored. The journey begins with the most intimate mystery of all, consciousness itself. What is it that you are experiencing right now? You are reading these words, perhaps hearing the faint hum of a refrigerator, feeling the chair beneath you. This subjective, private, internal awareness is what we call consciousness. It's the movie playing inside your head, and you are its sole audience member. For a long time, this phenomenon was left to the philosophers and poets, deemed too slippery for scientific inquiry. But science is persistent. Today, neuroscientists can watch the brain in action, seeing it light up with electrochemical activity. They describe consciousness as an emergent property, a complex symphony that arises from the coordinated firing of billions of neurons, like a beautiful melody emerging from the individual notes played by an orchestra. Think of it this way. A single neuron is like a single drop of water. It has its own properties, but it can't create a wave. But bring billions of them together in the intricate network of the brain, and suddenly you have the vast, dynamic ocean of awareness. This integrated information theory suggests that consciousness is a measure of a system's ability to process and integrate information. The more complex the integration, the higher the level of consciousness. Your brain is the most sophisticated information processing machine we know of, constantly taking in data from your senses, comparing it to memories, and generating a seamless unified story, your reality. It is the director, producer, and star of your personal show. This emergent property is not some magical ghost in the machine. It is a physical process. Electrical signals race along neural pathways at hundreds of miles per hour, guided by chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These signals form complex, ever-changing patterns. When you learn something new, you are physically rewiring your brain, forging new connections. When you feel an emotion, a cascade of chemicals is released, altering the patterns of neural firing. Consciousness is the grand, holistic experience of these billions of micro-events happening in perfect, chaotic harmony. It is the ultimate expression of the universe's tendency to build complexity from simple parts, from atoms to stars, and from neurons to thoughts. So when we talk about consciousness, we are talking about the physical activity of the brain. It's the most intricate and elegant biological process we have yet encountered. But describing the what, the firing of neurons, doesn't fully answer the why. Why does it like something to be you? Why do we have this rich inner world of colors, sounds, and emotions instead of just being unthinking biological robots processing data? This is the hard problem of consciousness, and it's where our exploration must venture into even stranger territories, beyond classical biology, and into the fundamental nature of reality itself. A journey that takes a fascinating turn when we close our eyes and fall asleep. Every night you embark on an incredible journey. You lie down, your body becomes still, and your conscious mind dissolves, only to be replaced by a world of pure imagination. This is the realm of dreams, a nightly theater where you are the playwright, the actor, and the audience all at once. For most of our dreaming life, we are in a state called REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. If you were to watch someone in this stage, you would see their eyes darting back and forth beneath their closed eyelids, as if they were watching a frantic tennis match. Their body is almost completely paralyzed, a clever safety feature from nature to prevent us from acting out our sometimes bizarre dream adventures. Inside the brain, REM sleep is a period of intense activity, almost as busy as when you are awake and alert. The brainstem sends signals that shut down motor neurons, inducing that temporary paralysis, while simultaneously activating higher brain regions like the amygdala, our emotional center, and the hippocampus, crucial for memory. This is why dreams can feel so emotionally charged and often draw upon fragments of our daily lives, mixing them into surreal and fantastical narratives. Neuroscientists believe this process is vital for memory consolidation. It's as if your brain is a librarian, working the night shift to sort through the day's acquisitions, deciding which memories to shelve in long-term storage and which to discard. Think of your brain during REM sleep as a film editor, but one with a very creative flair. It takes the raw footage of your day, a conversation you had, a face you saw, an article you read, and splices it together in new and unexpected ways. This process helps us solve problems and foster creativity. Have you ever woken up with the solution to a puzzle that stumped you the day before? That's your dreaming brain at work, making connections your waking mind missed. It explores possibilities without the constraints of logic or the laws of physics. In the dream world, you can fly, breathe underwater, or have a conversation with Albert Einstein. This nightly practice in creative thinking is a fundamental part of what makes us such adaptable and innovative beings. But REM sleep is more than just a memory filing system or a creativity engine. It's a fundamental state of consciousness, just a different flavor from our waking state. The logic is different, the sense of self can be fluid, and the narrative is often chaotic. Yet, it feels completely real while we are in it. This nightly dive into an alternate reality demonstrates how flexible our consciousness is. It shows that the reality we construct is not fixed, but is dependent on our brain's underlying state. Understanding this bizarre and wonderful theater of the mind is a crucial step in understanding the full spectrum of human experience, from the mundane to the seemingly mystical. The story, however, doesn't end here. There is another, even deeper state of being. Before and after the vibrant chaos of REM sleep, we descend into a very different kind of abyss. This is non-rapid eye movement, or NREM sleep. It's a state of profound rest and restoration, a journey into the silent inner universe of the mind. NREM sleep is divided into several stages, each progressively deeper. In the initial stages, you are just drifting off. You might feel a sudden jerk or twitch as your muscles relax. But as you sink further, your brainwaves slow down dramatically. They become long, rolling, powerful waves known as delta waves. This is deep sleep, the closest thing most of us will experience to suspended animation. During this time, your body is hard at work repairing itself. In this deep, dreamless state, your pituitary gland releases growth hormone, which helps repair tissues, build bone and muscle, and strengthen your immune system. It's like taking your body to a nightly repair shop. While your body is being fixed, your brain is undergoing its own form of maintenance. It's believed that during deep NREM sleep, the brain clears out metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day's intense activity. One of these proteins is beta amyloid, famous for its association with Alzheimer's disease. You can think of this process as a cerebral cleaning crew, washing the brain's pathways so they are clear and ready for the next day's thinking. Without this deep restorative sleep, our minds and bodies quickly begin to suffer. Unlike the vivid, narrative-driven dreams of REM, the mental experience of deep NREM sleep is often described as a blank, a void. The symphony of consciousness fades into a single low hum. The sense of I, that persistent narrator of your waking life and your dreams, seems to dissolve completely. It is a state of being without doing, of existence without a story. Some people who practice deep meditation report similar experiences of ego death, or a sense of merging with a larger whole. It's fascinating to consider that we all enter a state that mirrors these profound mystical experiences every single night without any conscious effort. It's a natural biological process of letting go of the self. This nightly dissolution of the self is a profound piece of the puzzle of human experience. It demonstrates that our sense of being a distinct, separate individual is not a constant. It can be turned down or even turned off by the brain's natural cycles. This state of deep, unconscious rest is not an absence of being, but a different mode of being. It raises a fascinating question. If the I can disappear, what is left? What is the fundamental ground state of our existence? To explore this question, we must look beyond biology and into the science that governs the very fabric of reality, the weird and wonderful world of quantum physics. To understand the deepest connections in the universe, we have to shrink our perspective, down past molecules, past atoms, to a realm where the familiar rules of our world break down completely. This is the world of quantum physics. It's a place of, well, mind-bending paradoxes and statistical probabilities. One of its core principles is superposition. In our world, a coin is either heads or tails, but in the quantum realm, a particle like an electron can be in a superposition of multiple states at once. It's both heads and tails and everything in between simultaneously. It exists as a cloud of possibilities. Only when we measure it or observe it does it choose a single, definite state. This act of observation seems to fundamentally change the reality of what is being observed. Another bizarre concept is quantum entanglement. Imagine you have two of these quantum coins, and they are entangled. This means their fates are linked, no matter how far apart they are. If you flip one and it lands on heads, you instantly know the other one, even if it's on the other side of the galaxy, has landed on tails. Albert Einstein famously called this spooky action at a distance because it seems to violate the cosmic speed limit, the speed of light. It suggests a deep, hidden layer of connection in the universe, a non-local reality where space as we know it doesn't present a barrier. These entangled particles behave as a single system, a unified whole, regardless of their physical separation. This observer effect is perhaps the most famous and philosophically provocative aspect of quantum mechanics. The classic double-slit experiment shows that if you fire particles like electrons at a screen with two slits, they behave like waves, passing through both slits at once and creating an interference pattern on the other side. But if you place a detector to see which slit the electron goes through, the very act of observing it forces it to behave like a particle. It picks one slit, and the wave pattern disappears. The universe, at its most fundamental level, seems to respond to the act of being watched. The observer is not a passive bystander, they are an active participant in creating reality. Now, these are ideas from the subatomic world. How could they possibly relate to the large, warm, wet world of the human brain? For a long time, the answer was, they don't. But some pioneering scientists are beginning to challenge that assumption. They are asking, what if consciousness is not just a classical biological process? What if it too has a quantum component? What if the brain has evolved a way to harness these strange quantum effects? This is a bold and controversial idea, but it opens up a breathtaking new avenue for understanding the intersection of mind and matter and, honestly, the nature of our reality. Let's venture into a speculative yet fascinating synthesis. How can we connect the ghostly world of quantum mechanics with the tangible experiences of consciousness, dreams, and sleep? Consider the observer effect. In quantum physics, observation collapses a wave of possibilities into a single reality. What is our waking consciousness if not a continuous act of observation? Your brain takes a flood of ambiguous sensory data, and through the act of conscious perception, collapses it into the definite, stable reality you experience right now. Your mind, in this view, acts as the ultimate measuring device, turning the quantum fuzz of potential into the classical world of your experience. Now, think about what happens when you go to sleep. In deep NREM sleep, the observer, your sense of self, your ego, fades away. The constant act of measurement ceases. What might happen to reality in the brain then? Perhaps without a conscious observer to collapse the possibilities, the neural system can revert to a more quantum-like state of superposition. It enters a state of pure potential, a quiet sea of possibilities without a specific outcome. This could be the biological basis for that feeling of a void, of the dissolution of self. It's not nothingness, it's a state of everything-ness, a return to the fundamental, unobserved ground state of the system before consciousness makes its choice. Then comes REM sleep and dreaming. The dream world is fluid, bizarre, and unbound by classical logic. It's a place where you can be both yourself and someone else, where locations can shift in an instant. This sounds remarkably like a system exploring a state of superposition. In dreams, the brain might be playing with possibilities without fully collapsing them. It's exploring the what-ifs stored in the quantum foam of its own potential. The narrative of a dream is the brain's attempt to make sense of this quantum-like exploration, weaving a story from the superposition of memories, emotions, and concepts. It's a glimpse into the raw, uncollapsed potential of the mind. This framework offers a compelling narrative. Waking consciousness is the act of collapsing quantum potential into a single classical reality. Deep sleep is the dissolution of the observer, allowing the system to return to a state of pure, uncollapsed potential. And dreaming is the exploration of that potential, a dance on the edge of quantum chaos and classical order. This is a radical idea, and it's still on the fringes of neuroscience. But it provides a powerful metaphor and perhaps even a literal mechanism for how the brain generates the vast spectrum of states that constitute our inner lives, from the solidly real to the surreal and the transcendent. With this quantum-inspired model of consciousness, we can now turn back to that ancient human quest spirituality. Many spiritual traditions speak of a universal consciousness, a sense of oneness with the cosmos, a feeling that the separation between self and other is an illusion. From a scientific perspective, this has always been difficult to explain, but if consciousness is fundamentally linked to the quantum world, these experiences suddenly seem less mysterious. Quantum entanglement shows that connectedness is woven into the fabric of reality at the most basic level. Particles can be linked non-locally, behaving as one system across vast distances. What if our own consciousness participates in this fundamental interconnectedness? Consider the experience of ego death or transcendence, often achieved through deep meditation, psychedelic experiences, or profound moments of awe. In our model, this could be described as a deliberate, temporary shutdown of the classical observer function of the brain. Just like in deep NREM sleep, the part of you that insists I am a separate self goes quiet. In doing so, you might be allowing your awareness to slip past the collapsed classical reality and get a fleeting glimpse of the underlying interconnected quantum potential. The feeling of merging with the universe would not be a delusion, but a perception of a deeper truth, that at a fundamental level, we are all part of a single, entangled system. This perspective can reframe spiritual practices as techniques for modulating consciousness to access different layers of reality. Meditation could be a method for quieting the classical mind to become more sensitive to the quantum whispers of superposition and entanglement. Or inspiring experiences, like gazing at the Milky Way or witnessing a powerful storm, might momentarily overwhelm the ego's narrative, forcing a shift in perception towards this sense of unity. These experiences feel profound because they are revealing something true about the nature of reality and our place within it. They are a form of direct experiential data about the interconnected cosmos. Therefore, spirituality doesn't have to be seen as something supernatural, outside the bounds of science. It can be understood as a human exploration of the full potential of consciousness, an interaction with the fundamental quantum nature of our own being. The sense of connection, love, and unity that defines these experiences could be the emotional and psychological manifestation of perceiving the physical reality of entanglement. It's the universe, through us, becoming aware of its own profound and beautiful unity. Science, then, doesn't diminish spirituality. It gives it a foundation, a language, and a universe even more magnificent than we ever imagined. These ideas might sound abstract, but they connect to our lives in tangible ways. Think about intuition, that gut feeling you get about a situation or a person. Where does it come from? Perhaps it's not magic. It could be your brain processing vast amounts of subtle, non-verbal information at a subconscious, perhaps even quantum level. Your mind may be weighing multiple possibilities in a state of superposition and delivering the collapsed result as a feeling, a sudden certainty that you can't logically explain. Your intuition could be the output of your personal quantum computer, offering a solution that arises from a deeper level of processing than your conscious, linear mind can access. Consider the powerful experience of being in the zone or in a flow state. An athlete making a perfect shot, a musician lost in a solo, a writer for whom the words are just pouring out. In these moments, the sense of self often recedes. The actor and the action become one. There is no time for conscious step-by-step thought. The performance is too fast, too fluid. This could be another example of consciousness shifting its mode of operation. The rigid classical observer gets out of the way, allowing the brain to access a more holistic, parallel processing state, tapping into that wellspring of potential we've been discussing. The result is peak performance that feels effortless and transcendent. Even our capacity for empathy might have a deeper explanation. When you see a friend in pain and you feel a pang of that pain yourself, what is happening? We talk about mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform it. But perhaps entanglement provides a deeper metaphor or even a reality. The feeling of connection with another person might be a faint echo of the fundamental interconnectedness of all things. The illusion of separation dissolves for a moment, and you experience a shared state. This doesn't require spooky psychic powers, but rather suggests that our brains are exquisitely tuned to resonate with each other as parts of a larger unified system. These real-world examples show that the line between science and spiritual experience is not a hard wall, but a permeable membrane. The wonder you feel when connecting deeply with another person, the creative insight that seems to come from nowhere, the gut feeling that guides you in the right direction, all of these can be seen as whispers from that deeper, more interconnected layer of reality. They are moments when the classical everyday world thins, and we get a glimpse of the quantum symphony playing underneath. Science gives us a new language to appreciate these everyday miracles, not as supernatural events, but as natural expressions of a truly extraordinary universe. We find ourselves at a remarkable moment in human history. The tools of science are allowing us to explore the most profound questions we have ever asked, questions that were once the exclusive domain of mystics and philosophers. We are beginning to map the inner cosmos of consciousness with the same curiosity and rigor we apply to the outer cosmos of stars and galaxies. This journey does not strip the universe of its magic. It reveals a magic that is deeper, more intricate, and more real than we could have ever conceived. It shows us that the universe is not a cold, dead machine, but a vibrant, interconnected system. And we are not separate from it. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. The convergence of science and spirituality is not about proving one and disproving the other. It is about building a more complete picture of the human experience. Science can provide a framework, a language, and a mechanism for understanding the states of transcendence, unity, and awe that spirituality describes. Spirituality, in turn, can provide the context, the meaning, and the experiential data that guide our scientific questions. It reminds science that the numbers and equations must ultimately describe something that is lived, felt, and experienced. Together they form a powerful partnership for exploration. Imagine a future where a deep understanding of neuroscience and quantum physics helps us to cultivate well-being, creativity, and empathy more effectively. Imagine therapies that use our knowledge of sleep cycles and brainwave states to heal trauma. Imagine educational systems that teach children not just facts, but also how to access states of flow and intuitive insight. By embracing the connection between the scientific and the spiritual, we can develop new tools for human flourishing. We can move beyond the old conflict between facts and faith, and toward a holistic understanding that honors both our rational minds and our deepest intuitions. The story of the universe is our story. The laws of physics that forged the stars are the same laws that orchestrate the symphony of our thoughts. The carbon in our bodies was cooked in the hearts of dying suns, and the electricity in our brains follows the same rules that light up the cosmos. There is no separation. When you feel a sense of spiritual connection, you are not imagining things. You are awakening to the most fundamental truth of your existence. You are a part of the universe, and the universe is a part of you. The grand quest for knowledge, whether through a telescope or through meditation, is simply the cosmos in all its magnificent complexity, striving to understand itself.